Good morning, everybody. Today, working on the wife's 2023 Crosstrek. She just hit like 63,000, and when we got the new tires on recently, the tire shop said her rear brakes were at like 30%. So, ordered a set of front and rear rotors and pads, and that's what we're going to do today. And I'd like to show you how it goes. So I'm going to get, obviously I already got it lifted up on the quick jacks. I'm going to grab a 19 millimeter, get all the wheels off. It also needs a tire rotation, so that's convenient. And we're going to grab some brake cleaner. We're going to grab like a 17, I believe. 17, a 14 socket and wrench. A brake bleeder. A crow's foot wrench, or just a 10 millimeter if that's what you got, and some rags and stuff. So let me gather all that stuff together and we'll get cracking. I think we're going to do the rear first, because those were the ones they pointed out. Just for whatever reason, I don't have time to get to the fronts, so I will grab that stuff and get back to you. Alright, here we are, the rear tire. I'm going to get the lug nuts off. 19 millimeters. Go. All right. Oops. Get some paper towels here. There we are. Alrighty. Let's see. Let me adjust my microphone here. There we go. Alright, so we're gonna spray this off with some brake cleaner real fast. And we'll put some gloves on. I'm gonna try to put gloves on because it's hot in here. Okay. Alright. So first thing, I'm gonna break loose these two 14 millimeters. Shouldn't be super tight. Nope. There we go. Oop, a little more. There we go. These out of here. There we are. And brake caliper comes off. I'm going to set it right up there. Crosstrek has the upper control arm. That makes a nice spot. if, you know, some cars you just don't have anywhere to put it, you'd want to hook a wire or a bungee or something just to keep it from falling, but it's wedged up there, and we're going to be addressing that in a second. Let me get these pads out. Shop said they were at 30%. I don't know if I believe that, but we'll check. Got those out. Oh, and when you replace it, the wear indicator pin is on the bottom. You can install it, you know, if you put the passenger side pad on the driver's side and it's flipped over, it would be on top. But Subaru says this is on the bottom. We're gonna grab a 17. We're gonna crack these loose. These are a little tighter. There we go. And the other one. There we go. It is nice doing something on a car that's not completely rusted. Bolts come out easily. Alright, there we go. Take the caliper mounting bracket off. Deal with that in a second. Then we've got our rotor. That's really bright. Move that a little bit. Still bright. You know what? I'll just turn it off. That's better. The rotor, give it a little wiggle. Hopefully it comes out easily. If it doesn't, there's these two holes here. You can run I think it's an 8mm in there. Don't quote me on that, but you know, find a bolt that fits. You run two of them in, and it'll push against the hub, and hopefully it'll come off. If that doesn't work, also a whack with a sledgehammer do the trick. Well, that was kind of rusty. All right, we're going to spray this. A little bit of brake clean. Okay. And I'm just going to wipe off the dust shield. On other Subaru models, and specifically like the SG Forester, which we have, the dust shields will build up rust, and when you put new calipers on, new rotors on, if you don't kind of mitigate that rust, or even I've even had to like cut out like damaged spots of the dust shield, you could get a noise. Now usually it only happens like when braking on a turn or something, but you know, when the rotor kind of the weight shifts a little bit, and it's usually down here, I think, is where it rubs. So like on my Forester, I think I actually, this piece had started rusting out. I think I had to remove that. And that stops the noise. And then as you're just driving, normally it'll go away on its own. Anywho, brake pad or parking brake pads. We're going to clean this mating surface. Usually I would use like a little whizzer wheel thing. I don't have it, so I'm just a little Scotch-Brite. And I'm just going to get in here. Each spot They also make a little tool for your drill. You can run over the lug nut. It'll clean right around the lug nut instead of having to navigate it. But and again, her car, is still, I would consider, new. So there's not a lot of buildup. Other older cars, you might have a lot more buildup on this thing, and the Scotch-Brite's just not going to cut it. And the reason I'm doing this is so that when we put the new rotor on, which is obviously new and shiny, it sits firmly against the hub, so there's no odd vibrations or noises or anything caused by it not sitting flat. Because you can have this can be all gunked up. You can put the rotor on there, put everything back together, get the wheel on there, and everything seems fine, but it's not it's not sitting correctly. It's not sitting flush against the um, hub. All right, I'm gonna keep cleaning this. Fast forward. All right, so now I have the cap off the reservoir. So we need to push the piston back into the bore. And for that, I have this simple tool. So we're just gonna, we're gonna wind it the other way. There we are. And then you're just gonna put that in there. Sort of, maybe. There we go. And we're just gonna screw it down. There we go. Unscrew it. There we are. Put that back up here for a second. All right, we're going to get our new rotor. Which I have right here. And move the camera. There you go. We're going to open this, and all new rotors, at least they should, they're bagged and they have a oil or some type of anti-rust coating on them. And you 100% want to get that off before you go and use the car, and reinstall it. So we're going to give the front a little clean, a little wipe. Okay, easy peasy. Flip it over, another spray. There we go, another wipe. Beautiful. Okay. So I always I take a little bit of anti-seize or grease, just anything really. Right now I'm using some anti-seize because that's what I have at hand. I just put a thin layer around this hub. And this, in my experience, helps with two things. First one is helps the rotor for people that, you know, the rotors are on the car for an extended time, heavy, you know, rust belt area. This stops it from sticking, makes your life a little bit easier when you try to take it off. Also, your wheel, for some, you know, people that wheel stays on the car for a very long time. Maybe you get a new set of tires, never get them rotated. You know, and then one day you get a flat, you try to get the wheel off, you take the lug nuts off, and the damn wheel won't come off. Well, it's because the centering ring on your wheel, this is built up like a layer of rust, you know, and it takes some oomph to get it off. This will help with that. So now that we've got this cleaned, as clean as I can get it, we've got that. Take our clean new rotor, slide that on. There we go. A little wiggle. And it seats right on there. Beautiful. Yeah, get this box out of the way. There we are. There is some, like, from the shop rag I was using, leaves like some little fibers, but they're all gonna fly or burn off. So next thing we want to do is we're gonna prep our bracket. So I'm going to take these off. Came with new ones. You always want to replace your hardware. If for some reason the caliper, the brake pad kit doesn't come with it, then, you know, do what you got to do. Again, my handy Scotch brake pad. I'm going to give this meeting surface for the just, again, her calipers are not super bad shape or anything. I'm going to give it a little spray, flip it over, same deal, just a real light, literally you're just kind of removing like a little calcification and, you know, surface rust. And also, yeah, if I had my drill and my whizzer wheel, I'd probably do that because it would be a little bit quicker. But okay. Where's my rag? All right. Check these out. They're moving freely. That's good. We're going to add some new. I usually do one at a time because they are different. So we're going to pop this one out first. This is the one with your like little rubber grommet. Not going to go crazy. I mean, this is the first time it's ever been taken apart. So this is from Subaru, and that's about how much they put on. How much is still in the bore, you can see. So I'm just going to wipe off what's on the on the pin. Grab some of my Synth Glide, AGS Synth Glide brake lubricant, and just put a little bit on there. The cap's busted. That's cool. And we're gonna smear this around. Okay, nice and covered. Good. I'm gonna just add a little more, a little bit more, a little bit more. There we go. Yeah, I mean it should be covered. It shouldn't be like massive amount, and then clean the end off real fast. There we go. Slide this back in. Make sure it seats around the boot. I usually give it a spin and a push. There we go. Good. Next one. Again, first time it's ever been taken apart. You know, there's your Subaru level grease. Okay, that's how much is still left in the bore there. So again, I'm gonna wipe this off. Right. Synth Glide, slightly bigger. Do it twice. Righty. And off. And slide that back in. Make sure it seats around the boot. Give it a spin. Push. Everything's moving freely. Beautiful. Oh. All right. Next, got our new hardware. Got our bracket. Get this in here. Kind of get it, you know, centered. And then you're going to give it just a push. And it should seat down in there. Just like that. Same thing with the top. Right. Kind of get it centered. Right up there. Give it a push. Yep. Now again, her calipers are, you know, in very good shape. If your calipers are all crusty and nasty, you know, this where this is sitting, if it's all grody and you try to push this thing in there and it's not, you know, it won't go in, or you're really having to muscle it, you need to clean this out so that this sits in here nice. If this is all wonky, your pads aren't going to move right. Next, we're going to apply some more of our Synth Glide. More of our Synth Glide here, 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 here. Basically this here, in this little area, and along this ridge. I basically just coat the whole thing with a thin layer. So, oops. Let me find my brush. I literally just had. Oh, there it is. So, I should drop. Well, that's probably too much. Yeah, that's probably too much. So, take some of that. Yeah, I'm going to put that up here. Yeah. Yeah. Little much. We'll spread it around. Put it around. Nice even coat. Come back up here. Spread around some of that excess. There we go. That over here. There. Nice thin coat. You don't want, you don't want it all globby, because if it starts globbing up, again, the pads aren't going to roll right. It's going to slide right. There we go. Not too bad. Put this down. Brush back. So now we're going to mount up the bracket back on. Alright, so like this. Slide it in there. Put your one bolt on there, loose. Second bolt. And just running them in by hand. Go. There we go. We'll come back and torque them in a second. Oof. All right. Next thing are the pads. Here we got our new pad. I've greased the back of it with the Synth Glide and the little nub, the nubs here and here. And we're just going to slide this. My light back over. Slide this in here. I'm going to block the camera for a second. There we go. Easy peasy. And I'll grab the other one. I do have, so this is the printout from the Subaru technical information system. So these are your grease points for your rear brakes. As you can see, you're greasing the backing plate. You're greasing these little nubs right there, and then you've got you're greasing where the pads slide. It's got a little arrow here and here. I'm not exactly sure what that is. Greasing your pins. I'm also going to put a little bit. This is the outer boot for the bore. So we're going to do that. And then your torque spec is going to be, so T3 is your bracket bolt, and T3 is going to be 81.1 foot-pounds. And then the caliper is T2, and that is going to be 19.9 foot-pounds. And then T1 is your bleeder screw, and that's going to be 5.9, or just hand tight. Yeah, so let me grab my other pad. And I'll put the torque, the factory torque spec recommendations at the end of the video. If this video helps you, please like and subscribe, as I am told I should say. All right, here we go. A little bit up here. Nub. Back of the pad, just a thin layer. There we go. And then there we are. Boop. Good to go. All right, we're gonna grab our caliper. Check out our bore here. A little rusty, which is interesting. So how new the car is. So I'm gonna grab a handy Scotch-Brite again. We're gonna kind of roll it up. Roll it up. So we're gonna take it and we're just gonna work it inside this board here and just give it some turns. I mean, this isn't gonna, not gonna look brand new, but it will break up, some of the surface rust that's in here. Over the years, your boards will get very nasty to the point where they need to be replaced. I'm gonna just get this surface rust off the front of the piston as best I can. There we go. And knock this out. Oh yeah, look at that. Okay. Let me grab a little brake clean on a rag here. Just a little bit. Just give it a wipe. There we are. And then come back in with some of this. Just a little. And just gonna apply around the boot. Light layer. Some of it got on the front of the bore. That was a big deal. There we go. Oop. There we go. Just a little bit. I think just to help it. All right. And we're gonna get this guy back on here. With the board pushed in, it should slide on smoothly. And you get your two mounting bolts. Get them started. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's back up real fast. Let me because we want to torque these first. I'm not going to have room with the tools I have to get in there afterwards. So it's 81.1 foot-pounds. 81.1. That's just the wrong socket. Ruh-roh. There it is. All right. Once you get your correct socket, 17, 81.1. And 81.1. Ugh. Okay. Now we'll put this back on. Might have to push the little pin in. Slide these on. Get them lined up. There we go. The other one. Are again and tight. And then we'll come back in with our torque wrench again with the 14. Oops. And stop. And we're at, it's like 19.1. I'm putting it at 20. It's really not that tight. There we go. There we go. All right, that is done. So what I would do now is I'd go over and I would just push on the brake pedal once or twice just to get this to seat. Car is due for a brake fluid flush, so we will probably end up doing that off camera. But yeah, just go give it a little push, let this seat, and then do your other side, and then you can do the brake bedding procedure, which I will have to look up what these are. Power stop brakes, so I'll have to look up what they say. So hope this helps. Like I said at the end of the video, there'll be the torque specs again, and I will I'm going to move on to the front, and that'll probably be another video. So I will catch you guys later. See ya.